Footprint? What is that? I just about stepped in there. Heel. Toes. There's even a break in the middle. That's a... yeah, that'd be 14 inches, 15 inches. Huh. Good morning, guys. The sun is just coming up behind us. Birds are all out and up and singing. Gage and I today are going to take a walk back into where we found the stone square box that looked man-made, or definitely looked like it was placed there by somebody. I had a lot of comments on that, so we're going to take the half-mile walk back in here to the wet swamp, and along the way we're going to stop at that stone box and do a bit of investigation. I have some questions I want to answer. Where did those stones come from? And if we dig all the pine needles around and in it, do we see any signs of soot, or, you know, was this used as a fire pit? Because that's the only logical thing I would think that somebody would take the time to make. But we're going to look at the placement as well. I didn't show you very well last time, guys, but it's on rock that's angled like this. It's not on a flat, you know, if you were making a fire pit for people to sit around, 15 feet from where this thing is placed, there's a great spot to have made this, right? You wouldn't put this on a rock that's like this. Nobody's going to sit around on a, you know. So I doubt that it was a fire pit, but let's go take a closer look and do a bit of investigation and see what is that stone structure. A lot more fall color is popping up now. Reds and yellows everywhere, except here in the swamp. There's not a lot of maple in here. Mostly ash in this swamp. 4K trail camera still out here doing its job. Lots of action always in this spot right here. I guess while we're going through here, we could talk about why those eyes in the last video I think were an owl. It was dark, I wasn't sure about the location, but right over here is where we saw the eyes. And look at how low the ground is. The eyes were like right here. So it was in one of these two trees right here. It was definitely an owl. I wasn't sure about the rock behind. You know, was it a fox or something just running on that rock behind? But it wasn't. It was up here is where the eyes were. So it was definitely, well, I can't say definitely, but it was either an owl or a squatch. And people always mention, well, you should put more than one trail camera. Guys, I have lots, and I usually try to point them. There's the 4K down the hill here. Okay. And then up here at the top of the hill, we've got another one of the old Bushnells right there. So I always try to keep them within a couple hundred feet of each other, so that if we get something on one camera, there's a good chance we get it on another camera. Oh, look at the mushrooms. I'm gonna have to come back with the camera later. Everything's starting to sprout and grow here in the nice wet fall conditions. So one other person gave a kind of plausible explanation about that stone box. They said, what if the old timers you know, had made this box to put tools in, and then they could just throw a tarp or something over it? Yeah, you could. But those are big stones and a lot of work. Would you go through that? If I was working in the bush, which I do all the time, I mean, it might be different if you had a camp there, maybe. Maybe you would build stuff that would... But I don't think you would move those that heavy of rocks just to lay stuff in and then put a tarp over. You would probably just find a nice tree branch that you could hang your tarp over and lean your stuff under. Would be a lot easier than taking the time to move rocks. But it is a plausible explanation that, you know, guys were putting tools in there, maybe. It's as plausible as it being a Bigfoot playpen, which is the other suggestion we had. Now, hey, we have seen animals do that. We've actually captured the fox here on our property do that herself in front of the den. She put a bunch of big logs. She drug them around into a circular fenced-in area so the kits couldn't get out. And she did that, and it works until they're about 8 weeks old. They stay inside that logged-off area. So animals do that. Do I think this thing was made by Bigfoot? No, but it could be. I can't say 100% for sure that it wasn't, but I don't believe it was. Look at all the leaners in here. We'll take this deer trail. You guys can see it clearly marked in the moss there. It's a little easier walking than trying to swing through all the undergrowth with the tripod. I guess it wasn't clear in the last video that I had never noticed that stone structure before. I don't think it's new. It's full of pine needles and everything. Like, the rocks have been seeded there quite a while. I just never noticed it. I mean, there's so much land here, guys, that every time I go to a swamp or somewhere, I can move 30 yards over and you'll find something new every time, right there. I mean, it's vast. And I don't, there aren't trails or anything, like I'm stepping over logs, and there's no trail here. We're just kind of making our way through the swamp. So every time I can take a slightly different route, right? Last time we came in here, we were way over there. So yeah, I mean, right? There's a lot of things we could find between here and there in the bush. If I zigzagged through the middle there, who knows what we'd find. But I'm just trying to go where it's the most open, which is right here. This might actually, you see that flag down there, guys? This little 2-foot wide path that we're kind of on might be the snowshoe path those guys put in last winter. If you missed that series, there's a group of snowshoers here, and they came in on all our properties. And footprint? What is that? I just about stepped in there. Heel. Toes. There's even a break in the middle. That's yeah, that'd be 14 inches, 15 inches. Huh. Again, I don't see any more in front of it. Okay, helicopter coming here. I just wanted, there's an example. I'm walking through the trail, and I just about stepped on what looks like a footprint, okay? So this is only the second one we found here in a while. But I mean, again, this goes with what I'm saying about I can move 10 feet over, 15 feet over, and find something new every time. I just want to show you guys a different angle here. If I get down a little lower, I mean, there's even, like, you can see kind of like toe prints, maybe, I don't know. One there, one there, one there, one there. And you can see it dips down halfway through, like where something would have pushed off to take a step. And then when we look look at it like this, it looks like a freaking footprint. So what I wanted to say before the helicopter was coming through was, I can only give you my opinion, right? I can show you what's here, and I try to do my best to, even if I don't think something is Bigfoot related, that's not for me to say. I can give you my opinion on it, but I still need to show it to you, right? And that's what I do on this channel, is no matter how implausible, I show you guys the evidence that I find, okay? And that's what I want you to give me credit for, okay? Not that I'm showing you Bigfoot stuff or non-Bigfoot stuff, that's for you to decide. But I am open-minded enough. I'm showing you everything I find, and that's what we need in this field, is guys who aren't going to make the decision in their head beforehand. Oh, that's nothing to do with Bigfoot, so I'm not going to show that. Or guys who say, oh, that's absolutely Bigfoot, and they show every, you know, in every video they get 15 Bigfoot faces and family groups and all this other stuff, okay? Because that's nonsense as well, right? My opinion. Again, it's just my opinion, right? But if guys are finding these faces and family groups in every photo and video they take, these would be a documented species. Now, on the other side of that, you have guys like me who think, you know, as you guys have pointed out, I'm always making excuses, was one of the comments that I got last week. I'm not making any excuses, guys. I need real proof. Now, this thing, yeah, hell yeah, it looks like a footprint, okay? This is the second one we found in 2 months. But where are the rest of the footprints? Like, I can show you guys, and I will show you guys the trail for the next 15 feet here. We are on a little 2-foot wide trail. I don't see any other indents here. I can see up there 15 feet right in front of me. Bunch of geese going off in the pond down here. I don't see anything else that looks like a footprint, okay? So if this is a 500, 600 pound, 12-foot animal, 10-foot animal, it would sink in the ground. This looks legit, okay? I would say, yeah, if I saw 2 or 3 of these, I'd be like, those are footprints. Absolutely. So this is where I've just been standing here, okay? Pointing out this footprint to you guys. So it's a little bit compressed. I'm 186 pounds, and I've been standing here for 5 minutes. But you can see where I walked earlier, I didn't leave any footprints, right? The ground is actually kind of spongy. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. It's wet, and it springs back up. But you can see where I have compressed it, where I've been standing, right? So how do we just get one legitimate, what looks like the real deal, and then that's it? Because in front here, I'm going to step over this. So here's the trail. We're still on the trail. Now Gage just walked down the trail here, and Gage is standing on it, but I don't see anything else. Go on. I don't see any other deep imprints. Right? This is obviously well used by deer and everything else, because there is a trail here. You can see it. It goes right over the log. It's definitely a game trail, but there's also that marker up there. And I think that's why it's a game trail, is because in the winter these guys were using it for snowshoeing, and they've, you know, cleared it out, packed it down in the winter. The deer started using it, and they've continued to use it. So I do see deer tracks here beside, which are kind of sunk down, not very far, you know, ½ inch. That'd be a pretty big deer. So, you know, a couple 100 pounds on a small little hoof like this is sinking down, where a couple 100 pounds on it doesn't sink down. It springs right back up, right? I'm not leaving a footprint. There's all my weight. A little bit of compression there, but give that an hour and that'll come back up. You won't see that. The point I'm trying to make, guys, I guess, is that looks like a footprint. I would say that's a freaking Bigfoot footprint. But where are the rest of the tracks, right? And without the rest of the tracks, I can't say that that's a Bigfoot track. I can say it damn well looks like one, but I can't tell you guys that that is a Bigfoot track. I just can't. I don't have it in me. Logical, analytical Gary. That's what you're going to get on this channel. No excuses. I'm not making excuses. I'm looking for evidence. I'm looking for proof. If there's a Bigfoot here and we get lots of little anecdotal stuff that all strung together, sure, looks like, yeah, there's definitely stuff going on here. I will not deny that. But show it to me on camera. Walk out in front of me, right? Let's get some screaming howls up close. Something, throw a rock at me. Hit me in the head with a rock. I don't know. Something, right? Okay? Make this guy a true believer. If you're out here, if you're listening, please leave more than one footprint. Okay, we're gonna carry on. We're probably 500-600 yards from that little stone structure here. We're getting close to the wet pond. You guys could hear the geese going off when I was talking there. I'm just gonna pay close attention to this trail as we're going and make sure there isn't anything else that looks like a footprint. All right, the deer trail carries on over there, which is the snowshoe trail, absolutely, because now I see more than one, right? So there's a couple of flags right there. So that's definitely why we have that deer trail there. But we have to go up this way, so we're gonna leave that trail behind. And no, I did not see anything else that looks like a footprint. I can hear ducks out on the pond. I'm just kind of using the camera to look at the far edge of the swamp. Just kind of scanning that shoreline without stepping out from here. To see if there's anything out there, you know, without giving my presence away. So just regular pond life down at the pond. Geese, an eagle, ducks. We're gonna make our way over here a couple hundred yards to that stone structure. Okay, just up here on this rock, guys. So there's our pile of sticks that we, ooh, attention span of a squirrel. Look at the mushrooms, yeah. Anyway, there's our pile of sticks we talked about last time. One pile there, another pile there. And then at the back over here is the stone structure. Now we all agree that definitely looks placed. I mean, there isn't another rock out here, right? You look at this whole big rock up here, there is not another loose rock sitting on top. That right there is attached. And everything else up here is clear, logs and moss, except for this. Let's take a closer look. First thing we can rule out, guys, is we are standing on granite, okay? Bedrock right here, solid. Right? So it's not a grave. Definitely nothing buried there because it's on solid rock. Now, what I'm trying to show you guys is the angle. Look at the slope. The camera doesn't do a great job of this. This is sloped down here on a 30-degree slope where this is placed. It's sloping down the back. If you were going to make a fire pit, why wouldn't you put the fire pit up here somewhere on the flat, on the level? Okay, so let's take a look inside. None of these stones show soot, okay? Let's get a better look so you guys can see. There has never been a fire in here. I can tell you guys that just from looking at these rocks. Let's get a good look at the shape of this thing. I'm going to go out on a limb and say we're not going to find any pieces of charcoal or anything in here, but let's dig down. Can't dig very far because look, we're on rock right there. And again, nope, There's no charcoal, no soot. This was never used. As a fire pit. Nope, nothing. No signs of that. So what the hell is it? Now, it's not big enough to put tools in, right? What tools would you put in there? Gage, get out. Right? I mean, if I were to give you guys a measurement here, it's 24, so it's 30 inches, okay? 30 inches in here. Just a rough guesstimate. I'm going to lift one of these rocks up, and I'm going to give you a weight guesstimate. Okay, I go to the gym every week. I do lift weights. I'm pretty good. I'll be able to tell you guys how much this. I'll try this one right here, and it's going to be freaking heavier than it looks. Guys, that's got to be 70 plus pounds, 70, 80 pounds. That's this one, and that's not even the biggest one here. Okay, so the one I just lifted is right there, and it's actually one of the smaller ones, and I'm going to say 80 pounds, guys. So these big ones, what do they weigh? Over 100, easy. Who's going to move that? And why? That's my question. Not a fire pit, not a grave. I would say it's too small. Like, you wouldn't build something like that. Like, what tools would guys be using out here 100 years ago, right? An axe, a shovel, a hoe? Like, not very technical stuff. And you wouldn't go through all that trouble to put any of those tools in here, right? You would just lean it against a tree. You would cover, you know, your tent, your tarp that you're sleeping under. You would hang your tools under there to keep them dry, right? You wouldn't build this for tools, I'm pretty sure. Let me know what you guys think. Is there any other idea that I'm missing here? What am I missing? I agree 100%. This was placed here, but why? Can you guys see the edge of this right here that I'm talking about? The slope that they've built this on? It's not flat. If I get down here further, maybe you can see it better. It's a slope. Okay? Why wouldn't you put that, so the slope goes all the way up past the tripod, why wouldn't you put that right there on the flat? It's quite flat where Gage is, right there. The last thing I want to do is, I did take a little look around last time I was here, and I couldn't find where did these stones come from. Let's do a little bit more of a circuit and see, can we find loose stones off this bedrock somewhere where these would have been moved from? Because they're freaking heavy. So I don't know where they would have came from. Okay, we'll start right close here. I mean, there are some big cracks here, but that's like a 700-pound piece right there. That's all solid. These are all pretty big solid pieces still. Again, hundreds and hundreds of pounds, if not thousands. If I don't kill myself slipping on this moss. You know, I mean, it's all pretty big solid pieces. I don't know where it would have came from. So there are some big boulders just down here, but again, that is huge. That's a ton. It's hard to show size on the camera. There's a Gage for reference. So yeah, okay, I do see some stones down here. So it could have come from down here, along the edge of here. You know, if it had been pulled out, can we move? I don't even think we can move. Oh, I can move that. That's heavy. But yeah, okay, so there are stones down here. It could have come from it down here somewhere. Those are placed, absolutely placed. You can tell just from looking at them. Oh. Come on. There we go. I don't know. You can't tell anything by age, you know. Another suggestion was kids playing out here in the bush. I'm going to say no to that right away just because of the weight, okay? Kids would hurt themselves trying to move that, right? A kid's not going to lift any more than 30, 40 pounds. Even two kids would have a hard time. They wouldn't be able to do it. I would say two kids, you know, two 12-year-old kids, I think of my kids, would not be able to move those big ones. So I'm going to definitely say it wasn't kids. Could it have been somebody who came in here and built a fire pit and thought, wow, I'm going to come and camp out and overlook this swamp, and then never had a fire? Could be, guys. It would have been a lot of work. It could be. That's the only thing I can come up with. I don't know. So I'll just clarify why I don't think that is a Bigfoot playpen, okay? If we look at it in terms of the fox had her playpen right outside of her den. So there was an area for the babies to go and hide if they were in danger, or the mother, right? They would just go into the underground den, which was in a big rock system there. There was a crack, and then down underneath the ground was the actual den. So there has to be habituation for me to associate that as some form of child rearing playpen or something, right? There would have to be a structure, a cave system, a crevasse, something that the family unit would be living in that would make me want to associate that and say, well, yeah, it could be a rearing pen or something, right? So I just don't see that. It's a wide open granite bedrock in the middle of nowhere, right? There isn't anything there for me to attach it to raising children. All right, guys, well, I guess that's it. My investigation is complete on that thing, and I don't know what to call it. There really isn't anything else I think I can check. The stones could come from very close to there. They're very heavy. There was no fire in it. It's not a grave. We don't think it was from tools or kids. I don't think it was from Bigfoot. So what is it? I don't know. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you in the next adventure.